Today we are going to be learning how to come up with ideas about our characters and what they are like. And we're going to do that by noticing how the characters talk and act. And so by now you should have listened to Winn-Dixie because of Winn-Dixie's up until chapter 3, because a lot of things that we're going to be talking about is using that as examples. And of course, you are reading your own character book. And so I noticed a lot of good post-it notes that you guys have been posting on Seesaw about how your characters are acting and what they're talking about. And a lot of you guys were maybe a little confused, like, Miss Yang, my character talks so much in the book, I don't know what to pull out of it. And so today, this lesson is really going to teach you what kind of talk do we want to pull out and what kind of act do we want to pull out. And so here, I did one on Opal, and I did it even in a notebook because I'm going to do kind of like a running information on throughout this entire book. And so I have a couple post-it notes in here that I've already started. But basically throughout the first 3 chapters, I noticed that Opal acts by, she stood up to the store manager, she took Winn-Dixie home, she talks to Winn-Dixie like a person. Did you guys notice that she's kind of talking to Winn-Dixie like a friend, as if Winn-Dixie is understanding her and talking back to her? Winn-Dixie is cleaned up by Opal. Opal goes out of her way to even use her own toothbrush to brush Winn-Dixie's teeth. And another thing that Opal does is she thinks about her mama a lot. I chose these acts because to me they were very significant about Opal. I didn't just do small things like Opal walks to the grocery store. That's not really a significant action that tells me about who Opal is. So now let's go to talks. Things that Opal talked about. She hollered, "That's my dog!" She calls her dad the preacher. She tells Winn-Dixie the story of her life, how she moved from northern Florida. She says, "He was an ugly dog, but already I loved him with all my heart." That she looks beyond what people see, maybe. Just like how God doesn't look at what King David saw. God didn't look at King David for him being the younger son or maybe not of royalty, but looked at the heart. I feel like Opal really does that too. She doesn't really look at the dog's outer appearance, doesn't have to be the most perfect, fluffy, cute, healthy puppy, but she's able to love him despite his mangy mutt kind of dirtiness. She also says, "I don't even have any friends." And so I pulled these things out for talks because it tells us a lot about who Opal is. So are you guys noticing how I'm using how the character talks and acts to come up with ideas of what Opal is like? And so some things that Opal is, I pulled and said she's very unique. She's standing up to a store manager. She loves this dog when everybody else wants the dog to get away because he's dirty. She's very interesting. She kind of talks to her dog, her new dog, on the way home. And she is an animal lover. It's very evident by how she talks and acts that she loves animals. She has compassion on people who have less than. Very kind by the actions that she does and just loving her dog. Very big-hearted, very unique, very different. So this is the important part, is pulling the evidence from the text. And so here's towards the end of chapter 3, a little snippet. And this is her conversation that she's having with the preacher. She's saying, "Daddy," I said real quick before I lost all my nerve, "I've been talking to Winn-Dixie." She's kind of being a risk taker. She's bringing up all her nerve to ask this question that she's kind of kept hidden because she's so curious about her mother who left her when she was 3. I think she's very brave for doing that. It's hard to kind of speak your mind sometimes because people can respond in anger. So she's very brave. She's a risk taker. Very gutsy. That's kind of an expression we use. She's got a lot of guts to be able to use that. And so when I'm describing a character, I won't just say, Opal is a risk taker. She's brave. She's gutsy. Here is kind of what I'm looking for is in my own book, I'm going to make a post-it note and kind of use complete sentences. I'm not just writing gutsy, brave. I'm writing, the idea I have about Opal is that she is brave to ask her dad to tell her about her mom. And I'm sticking it on the part of my book where that text evidence is proven. So the post-it note is kind of like the claim, just like we did in science and in social sciences. It's my claim, and then I'm putting in the evidence to help me give the reason why I think that Opal is brave. Okay? So I'm noticing how a character talks and acts. I hope that clarifies what kind of talk and what kind of act you want to put in to what is valuable, not just sticking in, oh, my character said this, ouch, or my character does this, walks to the store. Those aren't the kinds of acts that we really want to see. And if you're noticing that your books don't have characters like that, maybe it's time to find a new book. And you can use the library resource. You can look on Epic, on the collection that we've given you. Find a character that has some development because that's going to help you practice to get better at character traits. Make sure you study observations to grow an idea. She loves animals and she's kind. And so I made a conclusion that Opal is very big-hearted. And you guys can make little bubbles, you can make these little equations, make picture notes. Remember we did that in Genius Hour? Find a way to make it exciting for you to start analyzing characters in books that you've chosen for yourself. And here are some sentence stems to help you get started. Because in a moment, I'm gonna close this and you're gonna go and read your own book for 20 to 30 minutes about this character. And you're going to find text evidence. So maybe you can write, based on text evidence, like this page, the idea I have about my character is blank because blank. Or now going to talk. When my character does or says blank, it makes me think blank. Or I think my character is big-hearted because she brings in a stray animal and kindly takes care of him. Whatever it is, I want you guys to pull in text evidence because you are able to do that. And I'm going to start seeing, wow, are they able to analyze these character traits? So that's our lesson for today. If you have not completed the character pre-assessment, that is also something you can catch up on this week. The lessons that we're doing for Reader's Workshop is based on the text, based on the character pre-assessment. And so I've kind of written names down on those of us that we need more practice with character traits. That's what this lesson is for. And a lot of us didn't know question number 3, if you guys go back to your pre-assessment, and it was, we're gonna address all of those skills because by the end of this character traits unit, you're going to be able to analyze characters and understand way fiction stories with characters work and how the structure is. Okay, go ahead and get started. Here is the seesaw page. It's gonna look like this, and I will put in the video here as well. And you're gonna be able to post either your notebook or post-it notes and pages of your characters' talk and acts and what conclusions you've made based on what they're talking and acting. All right, have fun, boys and girls.